Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News, and with all the discussion around Sentinels the last few days and Tarik and Zombs giving their thoughts on what they could do to fix this team, ShahZaM has responded to both situations, saying that Zombs didn't really bring up any of these suggestions when he was part of the team, and that Tarik probably doesn't really know what he's talking about. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Smash through 16k ESA, just love to see it. First of all, from this, actually I thought it was kind of crazy. Usain Bolt, I don't know if you saw this, he founded this organization called Wild, I guess based in Dublin, and they're looking to actually sign a VALORANT team. So that's kind of crazy stuff. The crossover here I thought was kind of cool. This also to mention as well, because a few days ago we talked about the fact that cNed wanted to move into VALORANT and play with OG. For some reason, despite Riot's kind of sitting on their hands and not really doing that much the last couple of months or so, they blocked this move, it seems, by not allowing him to go on loan from G2 to OG, even though he didn't actually play with the G2 VALORANT team. So I'm kind of confused why they would even do this, why they would effectively block this move. But yeah, cNed wanted to play VALORANT, but they're not allowing this move to happen, so therefore he can't do it. So a bit of a strange one, to be honest. Like, I'm surely you'd want a guy like cNed to play your game if he wants to, because of course he's not getting a chance right now on the G2 CS team. But yeah, bit of a strange one. So maybe we won't see cNed in VALORANT for now, but maybe still something around the corner we might see. Bit of a strange one in my opinion. This also to mention, because there's been some rumors the last few days where Masters 2 is going to be. Of course, we just had Masters in Iceland, the first one of the season. We still don't know, I believe, as of yet, where the second Masters is going to be. The rumor has it right now it's going to be not in Birmingham, of course, in the UK, but rather in Berlin again, which came out, I believe, from this stream. There was a LAN going on in Mumbai, and one of the Riot leaders out there in India basically said that, yeah, we hope to see you guys get out the way all the way to Berlin, right? So basically implying that, yeah, once again, the second Master is going to be in Berlin. So honestly, like, if it is in Berlin or not, I don't really mind. And I kind of agree with George right here that says, look, I just think we need to have a crowd at this point, because at the end of the day, everyone else is doing a crowd right now. Like, there really are no excuses not to have it, in my opinion. If you can't get a crowd to happen at the moment, it's not based on the state of the world, but rather based on, like, the only organization, in my opinion, because you can do it in ways to make this happen. So hopefully that's the case at the very least. It would also be interesting if, like, every year it's Iceland and Berlin. Like, there was some funny people going around saying, okay, yeah, it's like the year's 2064, they've just played, like, Iceland 312 or whatever, and like, okay, I just want Iceland 312, hopefully I can bounce back with Berlin, like, 640 or whatever. So hopefully at some point we do get some new locations. I wonder where they'll do the Champions event. Often these kind of champs events are in LA and stuff like that, so we'll see what they come up with. But yeah, Masters 2 probably in Berlin once again. This also to mention, because plenty of talk the last few days about Chamber. Recently, he's actually become the most picked agent as of VLR.GG. So right now, Chamber is getting picked at a higher percentage than Sova, Jet, even like Omen, all this type of stuff. So Chamber's the most picked agent in the game. And there's been some talks about how they want to nerf him, make him less effective. And this was seen here over at the main VALORANT subreddit with the developer Penguin explaining why their kind of idea is to remove one of the traps. And people don't really seem to think this is a great idea, because it nerfs really one of the only things that actually makes him a Sentinel at all. Like, all of his other abilities aren't really very much Sentinel kind of focus, let's just say. This is a rather significant nerf if it does come through, that instead of 2 traps, it goes down to just 1, but it's probably nowhere near the nerf that most people expect to happen. So basically, Penguin's kind of confirming here that that is their plan, but yeah, maybe this isn't the right direction to take it in. So we shall see what happens with Chamber, but right now he is certainly rather strong. This also to mention some scrimbucks coming out the last couple of days. This from the Guard Valen, of course. I believe Guard mentioned that the fact that when they came back from Masters in Iceland, they played 100 Thieves first of all, and they thought 100 T looked very good indeed in kind of their scrims going into the qualifiers. 100 T, of course, failed to make it through. TSM did make it through, though, and as Valen says, I believe the Guard scrimmed TSM last night. And says, guys, after what I just witnessed, could confidently say TSM is very much back. And even as, you know, Valen replies to this tweet, what did you guys eat today? So there was actually some kind of scrimbucks noted from this. Like, you guys can probably just about make out right here that this game was 13-3 in favor of TSM over the Guard. So, you know, credit where it's due, I guess, to TSM. They seem to be making well, improvements in leaps and bounds. A team that's certainly going to have to do that, though, is none other than Sentinels. We saw this a few days ago when Tarik basically came out and said, look, it's not necessarily the players that are all at fault here. It's partly on the organization, right? Because not doing the boot camp, not getting the infrastructure in place, not you know, not hiring a coach when there's been potential coaches on the market, and they haven't really committed to that, right? And that's kind of the thing. There's been some talk from ShahZaM that, okay, yeah, they couldn't really get the coaches they wanted because the buyouts from other teams were too high. Like, other teams were asking for too much money for these coaches just because the history of Sentinels, what they paid for TenZ, this type of stuff. But at the same time, if you've been talking to like many coaches, like 4 or 5 coaches, and all of these deals have fallen through, it's probably not at that point on the coaches, rather on, you know, what's the common denominator there? Yes, it's the organization, right? So that's kind of the thing. Now, ShahZaM's obviously been getting kind of frustrated by this the last few days, understandably so. They bomb out to the first qualifier. They come relatively close. Lost to LG, of course, so LG went on to beat version 1 to qualify through the stage 2 challenges. Of course, Sentinels have a chance over the coming days. It's going to be far from easy, though, playing the way they have been playing. And of course, Zombs we looked at yesterday had his word to say, and he basically said, look, I can fix this team. team, I can make this team back to another one in North America if they listen to what I have to say. I've got good ideas on coaches that I think they should bring in, like accountability coaches and stuff like this, to keep these guys honest and accountable for their actions and stuff. And well, ShahZaM isn't necessarily convinced. He basically says, I'll share a couple of clips here in a second. Some really interesting stuff, actually, some insights into what, kind of ShahZaM's thought process is right now, saying to Zombs, why did this guy not really give any input when he was actually a part of the team? Why did he not say any of this stuff when he was actually part of the team just a couple of weeks ago? And now he's saying that he knows how to fix the roster. He also has a few kind of sarcastic words to say for Tarik, being like, oh yeah, Tarik, the expert of professional Valorant, this guy knows it all. Of course, CSGO major winner, but I'm reckoning that Tarik doesn't really know what he's on about in this case. And also saying that as of late, he's been feeling relatively burned out, and you do have to wonder that if they don't qualify for this, well, stage 2 challenges, maybe ShahZaM steps away from competing entirely.
You get a good coach, do you think Believe 7 can come back to the old days? Yeah, all we need is this magical person that's going to make everyone perfect and solve all our problems. Zombs will be a good coach, he says. Yeah, I wonder why he didn't give those inputs before then while he was still on the team. I keep seeing people saying that the hate is justified, or it's not hate, they just want to see the team do well, or constructive criticism. But trust me, things I'm reading is not nice. Maybe Turko coach? Oh yes, the expert of professional Valorant. Oh yes, I would. Oh man, Eric would be the best coach. We should get Shroud as well. And Timmy, Valorant Streamer of the Year. Start to get back into it this weekend. Yeah. I do feel like I'm reaching a point of like burnt though. I don't know. Like just to keep competing and pursuing pro play, but holy, more and more people are so mean. Why? I chose to make less money. People to just me. People don't care about other people's mental health. Yeah. I think people just forget pro players are humans too. Being a pro player, your streaming career too much activity. Yeah. Imagine if I retired after Champions. It could be looking very different than now. I've streamed so little this year. I've literally sacrificed hundreds of thousands of dollars to focus on competition. You know, I still get more than anyone.
So in tweeting a perspective on this one, it's really interesting what people have had to say on ShahZaM the last few days, because, like, look, I can understand his frustrations, right? And of course, everyone's going to have their opinions on, the biggest, most popular team in Valorant, what they should do, what they should change. But to me, it does seem like every single time, like, someone has some criticism for Sentinels and the way they're playing, ShahZaM always has some sort of reason or, some sort of excuse why that's not necessarily the case or whatever, right? But that's the thing. I'm sure it's been getting to him. It definitely seems like an as, and he was kind of saying he's feeling burnt out from competing, and if they don't qualify here, like, I do wonder whether ShahZaM just steps away and does content full time. And that would mean some pretty much chaos to the Sentinels roster. Personally, I think that Tarik very much had a point of what he had to say about the boot camping and the coaching and kind of the issues from the organizational perspective. Like, Zombs, of course, had his ideas on how he thinks he can fix this team, and like ShahZaM might be right about maybe he didn't kind of, echo those opinions internally when he might have had the chance to do so. But it definitely doesn't seem like it's all sunshine and rainbows right now over at the Sentinels front. But of course, like, they've got to put that behind them. They've got to put the first qualifier behind them, and it will look ahead, right? Because they've still got a good chance. The 4 best teams from the first qualifier are no longer there because they've already qualified, as we'll see here in just a second. Actually, I guess we can look at it right now. These are 4 teams that qualified: NRG, FaZe, TSM, and LG. All the other teams, though, are still there down in the gauntlet. Some of those teams still very good indeed. I think I would still put Sentinels in my kind of next 4 teams that should qualify. Whether that happens, though, is another question entirely. So yes, that begins later on today. Sentinels, I believe, will play tomorrow. They should get a bye into kind of the round of 32 once again. But today, the teams get to battle through to the round of 32, and then tomorrow, that's when Sentinels and Co are back in action. This I thought was rather interesting, as Platcheck kind of came out with their current North American power rankings in the region. Optic, Cloud9, Blue, the guard they have as top 3, then XZ kind of permanently number 4, and then 4 of the teams that just qualified: FaZe, NRG, Luminosity, TSM. Here, of course, they had to fill out the top 10 with 2 other teams that are yet to qualify, one of which being version 1 that is still down there, right? If Whippy comes back, as we believe he is, then they should be favoured certainly to get through. And then also they put 100 Thieves as the 10th best team. Sentinels, nowhere to be found. Like, I'm guessing they're still considering Sentinels probably just about good enough to get through, but yeah, not in the top 10 in North America in their perspective right now. If they don't make it, then well, probably more changes will have to happen. And, you know, whether any of those will align with what Tarik and Zombs had to say, or whether they'll align with what ShahZaM had to say, is another matter entirely. But as I say, very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. This is also from nerf, just to finish the other video. Hadn't seen this before, but yeah, apparently there's a bit of a bug actually in the game right now, and I like to finish up with a clip, but I thought this is a rather interesting one. That if you get rezzed by Rage, if you die, you get rezzed by Sage, sorry, and then try and res a KO ult, you actually can't do it. So like, that's rather interesting. Like, I guess it's something they want to fix, but yeah, something that might affect a professional game at some point or another. Very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tell us your YouTube gods, this is a good video, I just like you should see it as well, and hope grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you much as always, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.
Goblin. Nice. Could be pipe. I think he TP'd pipe. I think I heard him TP pipe.
I'm trying to get him bomb.
Boss, dead.
No.
Why can't
Get me up, please. Get me up.
I pick you up?
No!
I really can't pick you up. I'm not getting a button.